Hey everyone, I'm Libby Shaw and welcome to episode 8 of the Libby Shaw Show. So of course, Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, was released a few days ago, last Friday, the 19th of April, and a lot of critics have been unimpressed with this album, and I'm not surprised, not because it's bad, but because it's her best work ever. And what I personally believe that the album is actually just too intelligent for most critics. I think that people are used to singers, songwriters releasing superficial music that doesn't matter, music that doesn't have a lasting impact, music that doesn't challenge what you think, music that is easily digestible. And the Tortured Poets Department is not easily digestible. And I will say it's absolutely not for everyone. Like, I completely agree that it's not for everyone, but it is by far Taylor Swift's best work. It is such a good album with so many different songs, from upbeat, happy songs to downbeat, sad songs to wishful songs, and the lyricism and the lyrical ability in the song, in the album. I mean, it's no artist has ever done anything like this before that I can think of. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there is another artist that has, but certainly none of the popular artists that, are on the radio today. The other criticisms that Taylor Swift is getting for this album is that it's too long. Right, okay, since when was it a problem that an artist does their job and puts out music that they want to? Like, personally, I don't know about other people, but personally, I feel cheated when an album only has 10 songs, because I'm like, that's not an album. I mean, come on, 10 songs is not an album. You see a lot of singers only releasing albums every 5 years. I mean, Avril Lavigne, she last put her last album out a few years ago. Same with Katy Perry, same with Lady Gaga. Olivia Rodrigo only puts out albums with 10 songs. Ariana Grande recently put out an album that only had about 13 songs. 4 of those were interludes. The songs were short. And so when people say, Taylor Swift is oversaturating the market. No. Anyone who says that Taylor Swift is oversaturating the market doesn't actually understand the purpose of art. So I was at all the Australian Eras tour shows, as I previously said in a video. And in Melbourne Night 1, Taylor Swift said, this was an album I needed to make. I needed to make this album. This album was a lifeline for me. And that is exactly what art is. I don't know how many of you who are watching this write lyrics or write songs or write in general, but anyone who knows art knows that when you're inspired, whether it's for good reasons or bad reasons, such as Taylor Swift with her breakup, which I'm not going to discuss on this channel, you are inclined to write more than when you're happy. It's that old saying of, you have to suffer for your art. And I completely agree with that. And so anyone who's saying this album is too long just doesn't understand art and doesn't understand that Taylor Swift needed to make this album. And they also obviously haven't acknowledged the fact that Beyonce recently released a country album, which, by the way, is country laced with R&B. I haven't yet bought her album on vinyl. I am going to, but I'm still digesting The Tortured Poets Department, which, as I say, it is Taylor Swift's best work, so it's pretty much just on repeat. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Taylor Swift fan, because I acknowledge this album is not for everyone. In fact, I think some of the fans, so-called fans, will actually disappear and fade because, she, in this particular album, Taylor Swift shows that she's not just the shiny pop star, but she's actually a human being too. And I think that is something that a lot of the critics have spoken about Taylor Swift's album are disregarding and ignoring. They forget that Taylor is a person. She experiences real things. And because she's a songwriter, she uses those experiences and then she draws upon them for her songs. And that's her way of healing. She has always, right from when she was a teenager, when she released her first album, she said that she writes to heal. She writes to process things. And if anyone listens to this album from start to finish, you will actually see that there are so many themes explored in this album, and it's actually more complex than what the mainstream media is saying. The mainstream media, I saw an article, a headline today that something about Taylor Swift normally gets it right, but this is a misstep. No, it's not a misstep. It's just that you don't understand art. You don't understand what it is to be a musician. You don't understand what it is to need to get your thoughts, feelings, and emotions out on paper. And so I think that's why the critics are having such a hard time with this album. And I think they're also having a hard time with this album because everyone knows how massive the Eras Tour was. Everyone knows that, you know, pretty much everyone either got tickets or didn't get tickets or was trying to get tickets or knew someone who was trying to get tickets or ended up having to go overseas to get tickets. And so the Eras Tour was massive, but it was her peak. And some people, this is one thing I do sort of agree with. I do think, like, I was actually surprised that I love this album as much as I do. Like, it's probably my favorite album ever. And I was definitely surprised about that because when it was first announced, I was a little bit skeptical that she could, you know, exceed what she'd done during the Eras Tour. Now, I personally would say she has, and I personally would say there are so many themes explored in the album. You know, there's her relationship with the media, which is explored. It's explored in multiple songs, which I'm going to do in another video because what I'm going to do is I'm planning to do a couple of reaction videos. So obviously, because it is a 31 song album, that's going to be another 2 videos. And so that's going to take about 2 hours and 2 minutes to do, probably longer because I will be pausing, you know, as I'm playing it, as I'm doing the live reacts, you know, to listening to it. Obviously, it's not my first listen. Like, I've been listening to it for, you know, the last week, and I'm kind of like doing mashups in my head of different songs. It's really funny. But anyway, what I was saying is that this album, so it deals with fame. It also deals with relationships. It deals with what people think of her, which I guess is kind of fame, but it's also bullying. She also, you know, explores the theme of bullying. She sings about Aaron Dessner's son. There's so many different things that she sings about in this album, and it's a comprehensive album. And so anyway, like I say, I will be bringing you another couple of videos with my reactions and my thoughts on each of those songs, but I really just wanted to come on and say that this album is a masterpiece. It's her best work. As you can see, I've got it in my background. So I've got 2 versions of the vinyl. I've also got each version of the CD. So I've got 2 collector's CDs, and then I've got another 2 standard CDs, which wasn't my original plan, but because the album is so good, I needed the bonus tracks, which anyone who is a Swiftie knows that each version has a different bonus track. After I've brought you those next 2 videos with my thoughts on each and every single song, which will probably be difficult because I just realized I don't have a physical version of some of the anthology songs, so that might prove to be difficult, but I'll find a way. I'll find a way to do that after I've done the first half of the album. And I would just say, if you're not sure, like even if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, I would say this is probably the album to listen to first. But I would say don't listen to the singles. Like, don't listen to Fortnite. Fortnite's brilliant. Every time I listen to it, I take a different, something different from each and every single song on the album. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, because if I continue, I'm just going to end up doing an account of every single song, and I'm not sure I want to do that in this particular video because I want to do it while I'm listening to the album. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.